So, good morning to everyone. Today we will see about the topic. In previous classes. We have seen the guided or the wired media connections, and in wired media you have seen the twisted pair cable, coaxial cable, fiber optic cable, etc. Now in today's class we will know the types of another wireless media. Another type, that is wireless media, or we can say unguided media. So in wireless media, there are 5 types of wireless media: microwave, radio wave, then laser, then infrared, and satellite microwave. These are all present in the wireless media connections. So one by one, we will look over it. That first, we will look over what is microwave. We can say microwave or terrestrial microwave. This is the form we can say that it is microwave or terrestrial microwave. Now, this is used to transmit data without the use of cables. Now, in wired media, we have seen for sending the data, the cables are required. But this is wireless connection. Wireless connection means there is no required of wire or cables. So through vacuum or air, the signal will be passed. So that's why we have written that it is used to transmit data with the use of cables. And in this, parabolic antennas are mounted on the towers. In the upside of the towers, there is a tower placed, and in this tower, a parabolic like antennas are present, and these antennas sending the signal to the another antennas which are kilometers away. Now, first, we will see how an electromagnetic spectrum works. Now, in case of electromagnetic spectrum, there are 3 parts. Now, from 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz, from 300 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz, the radio or microwave works. And from 300 to 400 gigahertz, this infrared works. And from 400 to 900, the visible light works. So from 300 kilohertz to 3 kilohertz to 300 kilohertz gigahertz, the radio or microwave, this works on this range from 300 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz. And from 300 gigahertz to 400 gigahertz, the infrared works, and in which our visible light works on 400 gigahertz to 900 gigahertz. Now, in our microwave, we say that there a parabolic antennas are mounted on the towers to send a beam to the another antennas, which are kilometers away. Now, for microwave connection, it looks like this, that 2 towers are placed, or many towers. There will be many towers placed. Now, here in an example, I have used that there are 2 towers placed. Inside this 2 tower, in the upper side, above the tower, there are parabolic antennas are present. Now, here you can see this is a tower, and above the tower, there is a parabolic antennas present. Same as in this case, there is a tower, and in this case, there is also in above a parabolic antenna are present. Now, in each tower, in case of microwave communication, for each tower, in the above of the tower, a parabolic antennas are present. Now, the working of this antenna is to sending signals to one another. Now, here you can see this antenna is sending signal to this, and this antenna is sending signal to this. Means there will be a tower, and over the tower there will be a parabolic antenna present, and these antennas are responsible for sending signals to one another. So through this, our microwave communications occur. Now, our characteristics is, if the height of the tower will be increased, the greater the range we will able to cover. If the tower will be high, if the tower will be high, then the antennas will be on above, and if the antennas height will be also be higher. So if antenna will be higher and the tower height will also be higher, then our range will be covered maximum. The range will covered maximum range, the signal will cover maximum range. So for there is the main constant is, you have to increase the tower height, so that to increase the tower height you can cover the greater range signal will cover the greater range. And it works on LOS transmission, means line of sight transmission. Okay. Now, what are the characteristics? The frequency range of this will be 4 to 6 gigahertz. The frequency range for a microwave will be from 4 to 6 gigahertz to 21 to 23 gigahertz. And the bandwidth will be 1 to 10 Mbps. The bandwidth will be 1 to 10 Mbps. And for in case of short distance, for covering the short distance, if we use the microwave communication, then the installation will be inexpensive, means the cost will be not so much. Now, it is cost effective in that reason, because it will be cost effective in this reason, because in wired connection, we are using the wire cables. So our expense will become great, but expense will become higher. But in wireless communication, there is no wire required. So if there is no wire required, the cost will not be so high. And for installation of the microwave communication for the short distance, it is very much inexpensive, not so much cost will required. But in case of long distance, it is relatively expensive, because in case of long distance, the height of the tower is required. The height of the if the height of the tower will be higher, then the range will covered, then the maximum range will be covered. So we have to first, if long distance, in case of long distance, we have to make the height of the tower high, because if the tower height will be increased, it will cover the long distance, then it will be covered higher range. So that's why for increasing the tower of height, it requires cost. So in that case, in that reason, the long for covering the long distance, it is relatively expensive compared to the short distance, because in case of short distance, our height will not be so much, our tower height will be an average. But for long distance, the height of the tower will have to increase, and for this reason, the cost will also increase for long distance communication. Okay. And another characteristics is the attenuation. What is attenuation? Attenuation means the loss of signal. Attenuation means the loss of signal over a time period. Means attenuation means the signal will be lost or affected over a time period. So this problem occurs, we have seen this problem, attenuation problem occurs in what? Attenuation problem occurs in our twisted pair cable connection. In our twisted pair cable connection, this problem is much high. Attenuation problem is much high in case of twisted pair cable. But here in this, the long for attenuation problem, here also it occurs in the microwave communication. And why this attenuation problem occurs? That attenuation problem is affected because of the environmental condition. This is for the environmental condition or the signal antenna size. Our antenna size, which is antenna, which is parabolic antenna, which is presented over placed over the our tower. For that antenna size or environmental condition, like there is a harsh environmental condition, means there is raining or there is thundering, and or the wind is blowing very high. So this will be affected the, and it will create the attenuation for microwave communication. And the signal characteristics, that is signal is stronger or not, in how much frequency the signal is transmitted, it will affect the attenuation. Attenuation means the loss of signal over a time period. So how this can be affected? This can be affected by environmental condition or antenna size or the signal characteristics. Signal characteristics means the signal which is stronger or not, in how much frequency the signal will be transmitted, etc. And the effect on the signal. The effect on the signal is the EMI effect, jamming, and eavesdropping. Now, what is eavesdropping? Now you can see there are, we in diagram there are two towers present. One is, this is tower, this is another tower, and in the above of the tower there is a parabolic antenna present. Now through this parabolic antenna, this are communicating with each other. So the signal is sending. Assume this tower is sending signal, and above the tower there is a parabolic antenna present, and this is sending the signal to this parabolic antenna, which is placed over this tower. Now, in between them, a malicious user, in between them, a malicious user present, and he or she install a tower in between them. And through this tower, there is a parabolic, and over the tower, there is a parabolic antenna present. So the malicious user mainly build a tower, and above that tower, a parabolic antenna is present. And through this parabolic antenna, he or she want to catch the signal. He or she want to catch the signal which are sending from this antenna to this antenna. So through this malicious user is basically try to catch, because the permission is not given to him to access that. Means it is an unauthorized access. Unauthorized access, so the malicious user will create a tower, and over the tower he or she will place an antenna, and through this antenna he or she will want to catch the signal which is sending from this antenna to this antenna. So this is the unauthorized access. So malicious user will basically install an antenna and try to catch the signal transmission which is sending from this antenna to this antenna. So this is the activity of the malicious user, and this process is called known as eavesdropping. This process is known as eavesdropping. So this is the characteristics or and this is the disadvantage of an, we can say this is the disadvantage of an microwave communication. For microwave communication, the eavesdropping can be done. The eavesdropping can be done. So this is the, because there is no cable connections, and it is not going through the cable, it is going through the air or vacuum. So through installing, someone can install an tower, and over that tower he or she can place an antenna to catch the signal transmission which is going from another, from the two persons, which the two persons are communicating with the signal. So this is called the eavesdropping process. Clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is all about the microwave link. Now, what is the advantage of microwave link? Now, the advantage of microwave link is it is cheaper than using cables. Now, when we are using cables, now for using the cable, you have to, first what you will have to do for using the cables, you have to first acquire a land or buy a land, buy some land, and in this land, for any, in this land you have to dig it. After digging it, you have to put the cables on it and all the cables can be connected like this ways. So it is very much costly in according to this, because for doing this you have to buy a land, and after the buying land you have to dig it the land to put the cables for it. So it will make very much expensive in that case. But in case of microwave link, if you saw in case of microwave link, this is basically, in case of microwave link, this is basically the communication is going through wireless, so no cables required. If there is no cable required, then what is the purpose of buying a land or digging it? Because this is wireless transmission, so that's why it is cheaper than using cables. Next, it is freedom from land acquisition, which I have told that there is no required for buying some land or acquire some land. And ease of communication in difficult terrains. Now, what is this meaning? Ease of communication in difficult terrains? In some places, there must be some places present that in where for installing the wires or cables, it is very much problem, because if in desert you have to go in a desert and you have to place the cables for communication, or you can say you have to for communication you have to go for some forest, you have to make the cables connection, then it is very much problem. It is very much problem in that situation. If in desert or in some forest you have to make the connections, then you can go and put the cables on it and make the connection. It is not possible. For this reason we have to go for the wireless communication. So it is, that's why it is written that ease of communication in difficult terrains, and it has the ability to communication over the oceans. Now if we have to communication our communication, that there is the we have to communicate, though two communication has to be occurred. One is there in beside these oceans, and for the communication it should be connection over the ocean. So in connection over the oceans, it is not possible to place the cable over the ocean. It is not possible for making the communication. It is not possible that you have to put the wires on the ocean. Then how the communication over the means, like they are in the oceans, in this side there is a city and in another side there is a city. So in these cities the internet connection has to be established. The internet connection have to be established between two cities that are placed one side of the ocean and another one is another side of the ocean. Then how can be the connections be made? Connections can be made through the wires. It is not possible that the wire through the communication will be occurred, it will be placed over the ocean. It is not possible. So for this the communication we go to wireless communication. Now for these situations the wireless communication is preferred over the wired communication. So that's why it is the advantage that it has ability to communicate over the oceans, and it is also cheaper, and freedom from land acquisition, and ease of communication in difficult terrains means in this difficult situation, in some places it is not possible for making the wired connection. So in that places we always preferred wireless connection over wired connection. Okay, so this is the advantages of a microwave link. But there are some disadvantages also present in the microwave link. There is some our disadvantages is also present. Now, insecure communication. So insecure communication means that, which I have shown, that eavesdropping principle or the eavesdropping's problem, which can be occurred in this communication. Eavesdropping means the thing I have shown, that there may be some person which, if the two towers between two antennas, it can be connection is established, and there may be some malicious user who want to access the information which you are sending. So there may be the eavesdropping problem, and it is basically much more in this microwave link, because this is the wireless. In case of wired connection, the communication will be done through the wire, so there is no problem of connections should be go to the wire or cables. So there is not so much problem in this type of problem. It is not so much, but for wireless communication, this problem is for everything. This problem is in everywhere, because there may be some person who want to access the transmission which you are sending to your friend. So there will be an insecure communication. But in case of wired communication, it is much more secure. But in case of wireless communication, it is insecure communication, and eavesdropping can be easily done. And it's is the out of phase signal. The signal can be the out of phase, and it is susceptible to weather condition. Signal may be distorted when the heavy rain or thundering or wind blowing in high speed. Means the signal can be lost. If you have dish connection in your home, you have already seen that if in your home there is disconnection, dish connection, then in dish connection you have seen that when there is heavy rain, that time your in TV it is shown that the signal has lost due to heavy rain. If in case you have followed this, that in case in your TV, if your dish connection is in your home, then you can see that there in when this is heavy rain, or it thundering or wind blowing, then in your TV it is shown that the signal is lost due to some weather condition. Like this, the messenger came in the TV. So this is the thing, that it is susceptible to weather condition. Because susceptible to weather condition means signal can be lost. Signal can be lost due to some uh, heavy rain or thundering or wind blowing in high speed. And the bandwidth allocation is also very limited. The bandwidth allocation is very much limited, and the cost of design, implementation, and maintenance is high, because for designing and implementation and maintenance of this is very much high in the case of microwave link or the wireless communication. So this is about whole of the wireless or wireless communications microwave link. So it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is about the microwave link. Now we will see our next type, that is radio wave. Now, what is radio wave? It uses the radio frequencies between 10 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz for transmission. Now the frequency, our frequency range, which is between 10 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz, the frequencies which is between 10 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz, we call it the radio wave. We call it a radio wave. Now there are three types of radio wave present actually. That is short wave. Short wave is basically used for AM radio, and VHF, very high frequency. VHF, very high frequency. This is basically used in the case of FM radio or TV. In case of FM radio, you can see there is a line present for that is called very high frequency. When you tune this, that 94.8 FM, 94.6.2 FM, then it is a radio wave communication, mainly FM radio and TV. This very high frequency is used for the type of the radio wave. And for ultra high frequency, another type is ultra high frequency. It is basically used for TV. And one thing you should remember, for each and every radio wave component has a transmitter and receiver. Each and radio wave components, for the radio wave components that are present, has a transmitter and a receiver. Now, if we go through the basic communication model, if you remember the basic communication model, there is a first, there is a source, there is a transmitter, then transmission media, then after that there is a receiver, and from receiver there is a destination. If you remember the basic data communications model, then there is a 5 parts. First part is source, next part is transmitter, then transmission channel or the transmissions media, and then receiver, and then after receiver there will be destination. So the basic purpose of the transmitter, when source sends some signal The purpose of the transmitter is to encode the signal, to encode the particular signal and send it to the transmission channel. And what is the purpose of the receiver? The purpose of the receiver is the signal which is transmitted through the transmitter. It will be catched by the receiver. The signal that is transmitted by the transmitter, by encoding it, the receiver will receive that particular signal and decode that signal. By decoding it will get the original signal which is sending by the transmitter at the time, because transmitter mainly encode the signal and receiver decode the particular signal to get the original signal. Now, encoding and decoding, this is the purpose which I will explain during the network security. When I will discuss the network security, that time it will be clear. But one thing I am telling that for purpose, for your purpose, it is remember that for encoding purpose, encoding means if you and your friend are sending some message, if you and your between you and your friend, that you are sending some message, then you are first using a plain text. When the normal message is sent, it is called the plain text in the form of, in the term of network security, that the message you are, the normal message is called the plain text. Now you will encode that message, because through encoding the message you are securing your message, you are securing your message from the unauthorized access, you are securing your message from unauthorized access. You want that the message you send particularly goes to your friend and your friend will see the original message. But if you do not encode the particular message, then there may be some person who unauthorizedly access your message or unauthorizedly hack your message, and it can change the message. He or she can change the message which you are sending your message, the particularly the message which you and your you are sending to your friend. So there may be a person who, between you and your friends communication, there may be some person, because it is all going through the wireless. So there may be a person who can actually hack that message or change the message, and after changing the message, your it will send your friend. So maybe some unauthorized access. So that's why encoding is done. Encoding is done to secure your message. And this message, securing your message, it is like a, if we called, it is like a suitcase. If you convert it in a suitcase, that in suitcase you are pack your bags and your clothes, and after packing your clothes you lock it. Like that in encoding also, the information is packed, and after that, through a key it is locked. Through a key it is locked. Now the sender will send this suitcase, or we can say mainly our secure message, with this key, and the particular key will only be visible to your friend. The key is only be visible to your friend, and through this particular key he will decode the message. So this is the encoding and decoding process, that it is the secure transmission. When you will send a message, you will encode the message within some encryption. This is, there is in some terms in network security I will discuss. There is some algorithms, that encryption's algorithm, we call it encryption's algorithm. Through encryption's algorithm, we will encode it. Through encryption's algorithm, we will encode the message, means we will put it, the message, into a suitcase, or in virtual mode if you think, that we will put the message into a suitcase and lock it. After locking it, this message will be passed, and the key will also be passed. But the particular thing is that this key will not be visible to this unauthorized access. The key will only be seen by your friend. And when this message, this encoding message will get by your friend, he or she will use this particular key and decode the message which you have originally sent to him. So it will secure the transmission. And now this key should be the same or be maybe the different types. That is why this is in network security is called public key encryption or public key decryption, and also can private key, public key and private key. These are the two keys present. So it will be discussed during that time, but this concept you must be clear. So if anyone has any question in this regard, anyone has any question in this regard? It is clear too.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's how each and every radio wave components has a transmitter and a receiver. And the working of the transmitter is encoding the signal, and receiver is to receive the signal. And in today's time, all radio waves, all the radio waves are present are work on the continuous sine wave. All the radio waves present are work on the principle of continuous sine wave. And what is its advantages? Its advantages is it offers mobility, means it can be easily set up in any position. Mobility means it can be easily set up in any position. It is wireless, so it can be set up, it may be set up in any position. There is no such constant that it may be like this condition, like this condition. It can be set in any position. And same as that, that it is cheaper than cables, because cables, it is, if cables are not required, it will be cheaper. So same like that in microwave, the what is the advantage of microwave? It is same as that. For advantage of radio wave is also same, that it is cheaper to cables, then freedom from land acquisition, and ease of communication in difficult terrains, which I have already explained during the microwave. Same, the advantage of microwave and the advantage of radio wave is same, because both are the wireless communication. So their advantage will be same. On an average, their advantage will be the same. And but one extra thing is that it offers the mobility. It offers the mobility means it has can be easily set up in any position. Now, what is the disadvantages? Disadvantage, the basic disadvantage is insecure communication, like which microwave communication is also. Now, one thing, this is also the disadvantage of wireless communication. Basically, for any wireless communication, there is insecure communication. There is an insecure communication for any wireless communication like that. So that's why in case of radio wave, it is also the insecure communication and susceptible to weather condition. So if the weather condition is harsh, then the signal will be lost or distorted. So this problem is also occurred in radio wave communications also. So this is about the radio waves. Okay, so this is about the radio waves. And now our third type, that is satellite microwave. That is satellite microwave. Now, this is a special case of microwave relay system. This satellite microwave, it is a special case of microwave relay system. And it uses synchronous satellite to relay the radio signals transmitted from the ground station. Like if we see in the picture, this picture, you can see in this picture, this is the earth surface. Now in this earth surface, there may be some antennas present on the earth surface. There are many antennas present. The parabolic antennas, like this. The parabolic antennas are present on the earth surface. And in over the earth, in the outside, in the around the earth, there is a satellite. The satellites are present. So these satellites are present like that. Now the working principle of this satellite microwave communication is this our this antennas will send signals, This antennas will send signals like this. Then it will send signals to this, like our antennas send signals. So it can send signals like this. And like this antenna will send signal to the satellite present, which is present over the present outside the earth, that the satellites that are going through the earth. So this satellite, which the antennas that are present on the earth, will send a signal to this satellite. Now, if you can see this picture, you see there is, I am taking that three antennas are present, A1, A2, A3. And there are three satellites present, S1, S2, S3. And these are all synchronized satellite. These are all synchronized satellite. That for satellite microwave connection, there may be synchronized satellite. And the signals should be sent from the earth station or the ground station. It is the ground station because from the earth surface, the signal is sending to the satellite. So from like this, from this antenna A1, this antenna A1 is sending signal to the satellite S1. Now this satellite S1 will take the signal and relay it. This signal, taking this signal, it will relay it to the A2 antenna. The other antenna that is placed on the earth surface, there is A2. So this will take the signal from A1 antenna and it will relay the signal to the A2 antenna. Same as that, A2 antenna will send some signals to S2 antenna, and this satellite, S2 satellite, and S2 satellite will relay the signal to the A3 antenna. So now you can see there is total, if you can see, there is a communication is placed. You can see there is a communication. We directly make a communication between these two satellite A1 and A3 through this relay operations. Through this relay of a signal, this total A1 and A3 can be connected, because A1 send the signal here, the signal is relayed here, then again A2 send the signal in this satellite, and this signal is relayed to here. So there is this signal, we can say that from A1 antenna, the signal goes to the directly here. So the signal is transmitted from A1 to A3 antenna, but it directly not send the signal like that which we have shown in the radio wave or microwave. It send the signal through the relay operations, through relay or the synchronous satellite. So that's how we can say the signal is sended in the satellite microwave communication. Clear? It is clear to everyone.